Yeah. Oh man, I wrote on my pants. Okay. Yeah. Denominators have to be the same if we're adding or subtracting, right? So the first thing you kind of want to do is split it up if you can. Factor it if you can, right? Because that way it might be easy to make this guy look just like this guy. Does that make sense? Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. So I already see it. Do you guys see it? Who sees it? Someone sees it.
Do you do the divide thing over on that side and do 3?
Yes.
Oh. Heck.
And then what do you get?
X minus 2.
X minus 2. Who sees that that's the same as this? Right? So, all I have to do is multiply this side by 3, right? And it'll look the same. But I can't do it to just the bottom. When I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Okay? So then I'll go like this. Does that make sense?
So you would do it on the other side?
Yeah, I don't have to do it to this side because what's on this side is x minus 2 times 3, right? And now, that's what's on this side. You see what I mean? So a lot of times you do have to multiply both sides, but sometimes you don't. It's kind of like with those fractions they give you like 2/3 plus 1/6, right? I only have to multiply this side by 2, right? In order to get this to be 4/6 plus 1/6 equals 5/6. It's the same thing, but with more stuff. Does that make sense? Cool? Alright.
So aren't that,
Where's my sock?
isn't that pair 3's going to cancel out?
Well, we don't want them to cancel out yet because everybody on the block gets the paper. Right? Because the whole purpose of this is adding these two pieces up. So what we want is we want the 3 times the x minus 2, right? And then we want to collect these things. So we get 6x minus 21 plus x, right? And now we get 7x plus or minus 21, right? Does that make sense? Does anything go into 7x minus 21?
3?
Close?
7.
7. Okay, so then we'll get x minus 3, right? So then you'll end up with 7 times x minus 3 all over 3 times x minus 2. Does that make sense?
X minus
Oh, 7 goes into 7 once.
Okay.
7 goes into 21 3 times. Alright. Here's the thing. What can x not be?
0.
But that is the most common problem. Really? Someone's going to put bad words on my board back there? Come on, man.
It's been there all day.
Not all day.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. It's been there since I walked in.
I think that was up yesterday.
Huh?
I think that was up yesterday.
Was it? Thank you, sir. Alright. So we know it's not 0. But guess what? On the state test, they're going to go, thank you. On the state test, they're going to go A, B, C, D. A will be 0. So here, I'll give you a little 0, B, 3, C, negative 2, D, 2.
You want us to pick one?
Yeah.
What's the question?
What can x not be? When is
2.
this undefined?
2.
Yes, when x is 2. When x is 2, then it becomes 0. Who said 0 before? Okay? Then it becomes 0, right? So when x is 2, it becomes 0, and then the whole thing blows up. Okay?
Oh yeah.
So that's the key. It's like you're we're like those what was that one movie where they went in there and tried to cut the bomb before the bombs blew up over in Iraq. It was a great movie, but anyways, you're those guys.
Hurt Locker?
Hurt Locker.
Hey.
There you go. All right, you're all hurt lockers. You gotta prevent it from blowing up. So tell me, when is it gonna blow up? Okay? If you get it right, your grade won't blow up. If you get it wrong, you lose. And your grade goes down. But you don't die. That's good. Because they died in the movie. It's not a good thing. Okay? So, do you see why you would pick 0? Because a lot of kids think, oh, when it's 0, x can't be 0. It's very common. Do you see why you would pick 3? Why would a student pick 3? Because the top is 3. So a lot of times they get confused. What if there were 2 answers?
So one vote.
Yes. And this is where they get confused also. It's because this will be on a portion of the test where there will be 2 answers, and they'll be like, ooh, is it 2 and 3? Am I supposed to pick both of these? Right? See how this test becomes very, very, very hard all of a sudden? Because in the next problem, there might be 2 answers. Why would there be 2 answers? Well, we're going to show that. But it's not 3, okay? But I'll show you why would there be 2 answers, okay? So when we look at this problem, is this still recording?
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Oh, by the way, just so you know, these new camera, so a lot better film, lot bigger videos. So it splits it up into pieces, okay? So you're going to see a lot more part 1, part 2s, part 3s. Does that make sense? So you got to look for that part 2, part 3, okay? All right. So I need to know how to factor this so I know what to multiply this by. Does anyone remember how to factor the difference of 2 squares? There were 2 ways. One, we could look at this as the difference of 2 squares. Or 2, we could look at it as x squared minus or plus 0x minus 9. Right? This way, that way I have my 3 pieces. Right? And I can go, okay, x plus minus, because they're different. What multiplies to be 9 but subtracts to be 0? What multiplies to be 9?
Oh, 3 and 3.
3 and 3, okay? So, and it subtracts to be 0, right? So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is, what's the square root of x squared? X. What's the square root of 9? 3. What's the conjugate?
What does conjugate mean?
Conjugate means it's the opposite sign. That's it. So the only thing that changes is that sign. Okay? So, what do I need to multiply this by to make it look like this? Oh, fall asleep.
What do you mean?
What do I need to multiply this to look like this?
Oh.